Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? Well, it's it never stops. So I have over the last 3 or 4 days, I have been sent this tweet or articles or whatever it is, basically under the guise that BlackRock is buying all the single family homes. They're outbidding mom and pop. They've got more cash. It's not fair. What do you think about this? So I've looked into this. It's actually interesting. The article that is referenced came out April 4th in the Wall Street Journal. It is actually an article that I've referenced in the Daily Financial News on that date or the day after. Maybe it was April 5th. But most importantly, I had a conversation with one of the firms, John Burns Consulting. I think the video is called Investor Mania. So I have lots of thoughts about this. First and foremost, this data is nearly 2 months old. This article that's being misquoted, and I do think it's being misquoted or being heavily skewed to incite reaction, right? There is no question that the real estate market has been tough. There is no question that there has been tremendous bidding wars. There is no question that buyers and investors alike are pissed off and frustrated and stressed out and all of this. And you know what? We want to blame someone. And when in doubt, Wall Street is a great organization to point at. It's always their fault. They get bailouts and we don't. So why don't we pick on BlackRock? BlackRock is, without question, the undisputed and king of asset management. They are the largest. They have started to dip their toe into residential real estate. I would tell you that BlackRock is, frankly, late to the party. Other hedge funds, Wall Streeters, moved in decades ago. BlackRock is late, given their peer group. But there is a couple of things, and we discussed this in that interview 2 months ago from a contributor to the article. BlackRock, hedge funds, Wall Street, whatever you want to call it, they are, at least most of the time, not going to the MLS, putting in offers like you and I would, mom and pop, to buy a home or own a rock. What they are doing, and where the 50% overpayment comes from in the article, is they're going direct to builders. So the article, and again, I referenced this way back in early April, is D.R. Horton, the largest home builder in America by units. D.R. Horton ran a test subdivision creation in Houston, Texas. D.R. Horton built 124 homes as rentals. These 124 homes were never, ever going to be owner occupied. Not the business model, not the plan, not what they were doing. What D.R. Horton was doing is testing the build to rent model. And what D.R. Horton found is once it was developed and leased or rented, they took it to bidding or auction or whatever you want to call that. They had 32 bidders, with the ultimate bidder paying $32 million. D.R. Horton was very, very excited with that number. D.R. Horton in the article said, you know what? 124 units. If we would have sold them to individuals, it would have cost us more. We would have held on to them longer, and we would have had greater risk. We sold them as a lot, one package to one buyer, and damn it, we made 50% more money. D.R. Horton, on purpose, built a community, not for owners, but for renters, sold it off like an apartment building. And yes, D.R. Horton made a lot of money. In my video that I think is called Investor Mania, I pontificated and thought, why the heck would a builder not do this? There have been builders that have come out since that they think 50% of their development will be going to build for rent. The thing about Wall Street in this myth about blaming Blackrock for buying every home is we want somebody to blame. What Wall Street is doing is they want to buy big blocks. 130, 124 houses, Houston, Texas, done. We will pay a premium. But let's be clear. You and I, mom and pop, our sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, would have never been able to buy that community. We would not have been able to buy one. And it's not Wall Street's fault. I have no problem. If you want to blame Wall Street, go ahead. But in this case, Wall Street's the buyer. The builder built them for rent. They were not built for owners. Now, is that Wall Street's fault? Is that the builder's fault? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure the buyer's not at fault. The other thing to realize, again, that we talked about in April, it's funny that this is now important, but we talked about it in April during our daily financial news in that Investor Mania video with John Burns Consulting, was Wall Street is also getting connected with these Zillow offers, these Open Door, these other organizations that are buying from sellers, and then they're just feeding them to Wall Street as fast as they can. Again, Zillow, Open Door, Redfin, all of these folks, they're trying to use their websites to attract leads. They are then making offers, and then they're peeling them off and selling to Wall Street. Again, these are not showing up in Realtor.com. These are not showing up in the MLS. So again, we are not in theory competing. They've just set up this pipeline where they will buy anything that comes in. I don't know. I actually think it's Zillow and Redfin and all of those folks. They should put it up on the market. Let us have a chance, right? I don't know. I guess speed matters. And then the last thing, without question, as I started, the last year has been bidding wars, lots of stress, lots of energy, lots of angst, bad feelings. What really we have is we have increased demand and pretty low supply. And that means higher and higher and higher and higher prices. What we need is we generally need local governments to allow more housing to be developed. Housing developments in many states is relatively easy and relatively cheap. I happen to live in the Silicon Valley of California, and lots are, by some accounts, $400,000, just the permitting and things of that nature. So it's really, really hard to build an affordable home when you're not even pouring the foundation and you're already on the hook for 400 grand. So in the end, if you want to blame BlackRock, go ahead. I think the tweet that started this, which I started to see last week, is really, really misinformed. BlackRock, again, was buying an entire community that was purpose-built for rent. They were not competing with mom and pop. They paid a lot for it. But D.R. Horton built it that way. D.R. Horton built 124 houses in Houston, Texas, almost like an apartment. They're just the buyer. Do we blame BlackRock, Wall Street for buying apartment buildings or office buildings? No, that's kind of what they're supposed to do. Place capital, get a low return. So I think it's interesting. I have seen the anger ratchet up and more emails and come to me. But I think it's all about this Wall Street Journal article talking about how this community was sold to Wall Street. And the anger is misplaced. Maybe it makes you feel better. Maybe you want to blame someone. Okay, yeah, blame BlackRock. But I would tell you, Maybe it's the builders, right? They're the ones that's taking capacity that could be building affordable homes, and they're actually building for rent. Or it could be local legislation that has made permitting and land costs so astronomical that nobody can build. Maybe that's where the anger should go. Affordable housing is a problem in much of the country. I'm just not sure the end buyer is the problem. It's up the food chain. If we're going to be angry, and we probably should be angry, let's go be angry with local government. Let's go be angry with builders building and taking capacity out of building for owner occ. But if you want to blame Wall Street, go ahead. They don't care. But I just think it's an interesting thing to be upset at. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I actually forgot that this weekend is Father's Day. Go figure. So if you're a father out there, happy Father's Day early. If your father is with us and you want to, make sure I think it's Sunday. I think it's always Sunday, right? I think it's Sunday. Wish them a happy Father's Day. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.